What if the choice you are so afraid to make is the exact doorway to the peace you have been searching for? Have you ever noticed how the mind loves to build prisons out of what-ifs? Most people do not realize that the pain of staying stuck is often far worse than the pain of moving forward. If you have ever felt paralyzed at a crossroads, exhausted by the endless loop of trying to predict a future that has not happened yet, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the way you view your own fear is about to change forever. You know this feeling. You are standing at the edge of a major decision. It might be leaving a place, stepping away from a connection, or starting completely over. Your mind races through every scenario. You weigh the pros and cons until you are utterly exhausted. You try to foresee every possible outcome, every potential mistake, every hidden danger. You are terrified of making the wrong choice. And so, you do nothing. You wait. You hope the perfect answer will magically appear. But while you wait, the anxiety only deepens. The weight of the unmade decision becomes heavier than the decision itself. You feel entirely stuck, trapped between a reality you have outgrown and a future you cannot clearly see. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our deepest suffering in these moments does not come from the unknown itself. It comes from our desperate attachment to controlling the unknown. We crave a guarantee. We want a perfectly drawn map for a territory that has not even been created yet. But life is inherently impermanent and entirely unpredictable. When we resist this truth, we create immense inner turmoil. The anxiety you feel is not a sign that you are broken or incapable. It is simply the mind trying to do the impossible, trying to hold on to the fluid, ever-changing nature of reality. Imagine a dense, heavy fog rolling into a deep forest. You are walking along a path, and suddenly you can only see a few steps in front of you. The natural instinct is to freeze, to panic, to refuse to take another step until the sky completely clears. But the fog does not answer to your demands. If you stand completely still, the cold simply seeps in, and the shadows grow larger in your mind. The only way through the fog is to take one step. Just one. You do not need to see the edge of the forest to know where your foot needs to land right now. We do this in our lives every single day. We stay in situations that drain our spirit because we cannot see the perfect alternative waiting for us. We remain quiet when we should speak up because the pain of the familiar feels safer than the mystery of what happens next. We let the fear of what might go wrong entirely steal our power to discover what could go right. Ask yourself, what are you currently waiting for? Are you waiting for fear to vanish entirely before you make your move? Think about your own life. What are you afraid will happen if you finally let go of the need for absolute certainty? Pause. Breathe. Notice the physical sensation of hesitation in your chest or your shoulders. Observe that tension without trying to fight it or fix it. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You do not have to have all the answers in this exact moment. You are allowed to be deeply afraid and still move forward, because true peace is not found in knowing exactly how the story ends. It is found in trusting yourself enough to turn the page. But releasing the need for total certainty requires us to look very closely at the loud, frantic voice demanding it. And this is where the next truth begins, because beneath every panicked thought is a fear waiting to be understood. 2. Listening to fear without believing it. What if the voice in your head telling you that everything will go wrong is not a prophet, but simply a frightened passenger? Here is the truth few people want to face. Fear is loud, fear is convincing, but fear is rarely telling the whole story. The tighter you hold on to fear's predictions, the more you suffer in the present moment. When we face an unclear future, fear is usually the very first guest to arrive. It sits at the table of your mind and begins to speak. It replays your past failures. It paints terrifying pictures of what will happen if you choose poorly. It tells you that you are not smart enough, strong enough, or brave enough to handle the unknown. Soon, you begin to mistake this panicked voice for reality. You think it is your deepest intuition warning you, but it is merely a reaction to an illusion. You start living inside a tragedy that has not actually occurred. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the practice of observing the mind without becoming entangled in it. We are reminded that emotions are like weather patterns, rising and falling in the vast, open sky of our awareness. You cannot stop the weather, but you do not have to let it become your identity. Non-attachment does not mean you never feel afraid. It means you feel the fear, you see the fear, but you do not let the fear make your choices. You create a quiet, still space between the emotion and your reaction to it. Imagine you are driving down a long, winding mountain road at night. Fear is sitting right beside you in the passenger seat. As the road gets dark and the turns become sharp, fear starts shouting. It tells you to pull over. It warns you of invisible cliffs. It demands that you turn the vehicle around and go back to where it is safe, predictable, and brightly lit. If you try to violently push fear out of the moving car, you will lose control. If you hand fear the steering wheel, it will drive you directly into a ditch. But there is a profound third choice. You can let fear sit there. You can acknowledge that it is terrified, but you keep your own hands on the wheel and your own eyes on the road. We experience this constantly in our daily lives. You might be terrified of setting a boundary with someone close to you, or walking away from a secure path that is slowly draining your soul. The fear screams that you will be abandoned or that you will lose everything. It uses your deepest insecurities to keep you entirely frozen. It demands certainty before it allows you to move. Ask yourself, how many beautiful opportunities have you already missed because fear spoke and you instantly obeyed? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let the fear speak without giving it the power to decide your future? Is this fearful thought bringing you clarity, or is it only feeding your paralysis? Pause. Breathe. The next time the panic rises, do not fight it. Do not try to silence it. Observe the thought without following it down the dark tunnel. Say quietly to the fear, I hear you, but you do not own me. You are not powerless against the noise in your mind. You can let the fear sit beside you and still choose to drive forward into the night. But what happens if you decide to pull over entirely and simply wait for the road to become safe? And this is where the next truth begins. Because avoiding the decision does not protect you from the pain. 3. The danger of staying in the waiting room. What if making no choice is actually the heaviest choice you can make? Here is the truth few people want to face. The tighter you cling to your indecision, the more you suffer in the present moment. We often believe that by postponing a difficult decision, we are somehow protecting ourselves. You stand in the doorway of your life, refusing to step outside because the weather is unpredictable. You think that by staying in the waiting room, you are buying time. You replay every possible disaster, telling yourself that if you just wait a little longer, a perfect, risk-free answer will drop from the sky. But instead of feeling safe, you feel utterly exhausted. The energy it takes to hold your life in a state of suspended animation is monumental. You are not avoiding the pain of a wrong choice. You are simply choosing the slow, quiet ache of stagnation. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound reality of impermanence. Everything is in a constant state of motion. To try to stop the flow of your life through indecision is to fight the very nature of existence. This is a subtle, yet deeply destructive form of attachment, the attachment to an illusion of safety. Buddhism reminds us that when we refuse to move, we are not actually pausing life. We are merely allowing life to happen to us without our active participation. We surrender our agency to the passing of time. Imagine a small boat on a fast-moving river. Ahead, the water gets choppy, and the path is completely obscured by mist. Terrified of making the wrong turn and hitting a rock, you drop a heavy iron anchor right in the middle of the rushing current. You tell yourself you will stay anchored just until the mist clears, but the river does not stop. The water crashes violently against the sides of your fragile boat. The anchor chain groans and pulls, threatening to tear the vessel apart. By refusing to navigate, you have not avoided the danger at all. You have simply anchored yourself directly inside the turbulence. The only way to find calm water is to pull up the heavy iron and steer. Think about how this shows up in your own world. You stay in a career that numbs your spirit because you are waiting for an absolute guarantee of success elsewhere. You remain in a dynamic that has long been over, secretly hoping the other person will make the final decision so you do not have to carry the weight of it. You sit quietly, watching the years pass by, hoping the universe will eventually hand you a flawless map. Ask yourself, what decision are you actively avoiding right now? What are you afraid will happen if you finally pull up the anchor? Is this prolonged waiting bringing you peace, or is it slowly feeding your anxiety? Pause, breathe, feel the heavy, stagnant weight of indecision in your body. Notice how much energy it takes to stand perfectly still against the current of your own life. Let the realization rise without making it your identity. You do not need absolute clarity to take one tiny, deliberate step, because true peace is not found in avoiding the current. It is found in trusting your ability to steer when the water gets rough. But before you can steer clearly, you must quiet the frantic noise telling you that every direction is wrong. And this is where the next truth begins. Because the mind loves to muddy the water when it is afraid of what lies at the bottom. 4. The muddy water of overthinking. What if trying to figure everything out is the exact reason you feel so entirely lost? Here is the truth few people want to face. The more you violently stir the mind to find an answer, the less you can actually see. You know the exhaustion of the midnight mind. You wake up in the dark, and your brain immediately turns into a relentless courtroom, putting every single option on trial. You calculate every variable. You replay past mistakes, hoping they will somehow serve as a map to navigate the future. You believe that, if you just think hard enough, if you just analyze the situation from one more angle, the perfect path will suddenly illuminate itself. You think clarity is a reward for intellectual exhaustion, but instead of finding the answer, you only find panic. You are tired. You are carrying a heavy load of thoughts that lead absolutely nowhere. Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the restless, agitated state of constantly jumping from one worry to the next. In Buddhist thought, true clarity does not come from thinking harder or thinking more. It comes from the gentle practice of non-attachment to the endless, chaotic stream of your own thoughts. Buddhism reminds us that the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. When you try to solve an emotional dilemma with frantic logic, you only create more suffering. Imagine a glass of clear water resting on a table. Now, imagine dropping a handful of dark soil into the water and shaking it violently. The water immediately turns brown and cloudy. You cannot see through it at all. Panicked by the mess, you grab a spoon and start stirring the water, hoping to force the dirt to the bottom. But the more you stir, the muddier the water remains. The only way the water will ever become clear again is if you completely stop touching the glass. You must leave it entirely alone. If you just let it sit, slowly, naturally, the dirt will settle to the bottom and the water will become perfectly transparent. Think about how this mirrors your own daily life. You obsess over a difficult conversation. You analyze a career move until your head aches. You constantly weigh whether you should hold on or finally walk away from a relationship. You try to force a revelation by talking about it constantly, endlessly searching for advice, keeping yourself awake to chart out invisible timelines. You are desperately trying to force an answer, but all you are doing is vigorously shaking the glass. Ask yourself, is your constant analyzing actually bringing you closer to a confident decision, or is it merely creating more noise? What are you afraid will happen if you simply stop stirring the water for just one day? Is this frantic thinking bringing you peace, or is it feeding your fear of making a mistake? Pause, breathe, step away from the problem. Let the desperate, urgent need to decide right this second simply fall away. Observe the muddy thoughts without trying to fix them. Stop trying to force the dirt to the bottom. Stop stirring the glass. Because true clarity is not something you actively hunt down and capture. It is something that arises quietly, on its own, when you finally allow the mind to be still. But finding that stillness feels impossible when we demand a flawless guarantee, and this is where the next truth begins. Because the desperate search for the perfect choice is the very illusion keeping you trapped. 5. Releasing the need for a perfect choice. What if there is no such thing as a flawless decision? Here is the truth few people want to face. The obsession with making the perfect choice is the exact thing keeping you entirely paralyzed. We often suffer under the illusion that there is a single, golden, correct answer hidden somewhere in the future. We believe that if we choose one path, we will be perfectly safe and happy, and if we choose the other, our lives will be ruined. You freeze at the crossroads because you feel the immense weight of getting it exactly right. You try to predict not just tomorrow, but 10 years from now. You live in constant terror of future regret. You believe that making a mistake is the ultimate failure, and so you demand a guarantee before you take a single step. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this craving for absolute perfection is a deep root of our suffering. Life is not a rigid test with strict right and wrong answers. It is an ever-changing, unpredictable flow. Buddhism reminds us to practice non-attachment to outcomes. When you release the demand for a perfect result, you free yourself from the heavy, crushing burden of the future. The path you choose is not inherently right or wrong. It simply becomes your path the moment you have the courage to step onto it. Imagine standing in a vast open field at dawn, holding a handful of seeds. You want to plant a beautiful, strong tree, but you stand there for hours, agonizing over the exact square inch of dirt that will provide the perfect amount of sunlight, water, and wind protection over the next 100 years. You are terrified that if you plant the seed 1 foot to the left, the tree will ultimately fail. So you just stand there. You hold on to the seeds until your hands cramp and ache. But the truth is, a seed does not need a flawless location to grow. It simply needs to be placed into the dark soil. It will naturally reach for the light from wherever it is planted. Think about how this shows up in your own decisions. You agonize over taking a new job, fearing it will not be the ultimate career move. You endlessly weigh ending a connection, terrified of making a mistake you cannot undo. You refuse to move forward in your life because you cannot guarantee it will fix your inner emptiness. You are demanding perfection from an imperfect world. You are holding the seeds so tightly that nothing can possibly grow. Ask yourself, what choice are you currently avoiding because you are terrified it will not be perfect? What if you trusted your own resilience to handle whatever happens, regardless of the choice you make? Is this endless search for a flawless guarantee bringing you peace, or feeding your fear? Pause, breathe. Feel the immense pressure you have placed on your own shoulders. Let that heavy, impossible expectation drop to the floor. Observe the thought without following it. You do not have to be a fortune teller to be wise. Do your part, then release the outcome. Because true peace is not found in guaranteeing a flawless future. It is found in having the courage to plant the seed and trusting yourself to navigate the weather that follows. But to step forward with confidence, you must first learn how to listen to the quiet truth beneath the noise. And this is where the next truth begins. Because when the mind finally stops screaming for perfection, a much deeper guide begins to emerge. 6. The compass within. What if the exact answer you are desperately searching for outside of yourself has been quietly waiting within you all along? Here is the truth few people want to face. When you constantly seek direction from everyone else, you slowly become deaf to your own wisdom. When we are terrified of an unclear future, our first instinct is often to gather opinions. You stand at the crossroads and immediately begin asking your friends, your family, and even strangers what they think you should do. You search for answers in books, in articles, and in endless scrolling late into the night. You lay your heavy choices at the feet of other people, secretly hoping someone will simply tell you which path to take. You want someone else to carry the heavy responsibility of the outcome. But the more voices you invite into your mind, the more conflicted and paralyzed you become. You are trading your own deep knowing for the loud, contradictory noise of the world. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our deepest truths are not discovered through frantic external searching. They are revealed through internal clearing. In Buddhist thought, we are reminded of our innate inner wisdom, a quiet, steady light that is never completely extinguished, only temporarily obscured by the dense clouds of our fears and attachments. We often ignore this quiet inner voice because it does not scream with the loud, panicked urgency of our anxieties. It does not offer detailed maps or guaranteed outcomes. It simply offers a direction, asking only that you trust it step by step. Imagine a deep, still lake hidden in a quiet forest at midnight. When the water is completely undisturbed, its surface becomes a flawless mirror, perfectly reflecting the glowing light of the moon above. But if you stand at the edge and constantly throw heavy rocks into the water, hoping to make the reflection brighter or clearer, you only shatter the image. The ripples and splashing waves distort the light entirely. You cannot force the lake to show you the moon by agitating the water. You can only see the truth when you finally drop the stones and allow the surface to become completely still. Think about how you treat your own inner lake. Every time you ask a dozen different people what they think you should do about your career, you throw another heavy stone. Every time you endlessly search the internet, looking for an external sign to stay or leave a failing relationship, you create another wave. You are desperately trying to see your own true reflection, but you refuse to stop agitating the water. You have convinced yourself that your own intuition is not enough, and that someone else holds the magic key to your life. Ask yourself, whose voice are you actually listening to right now? Are you living your own life? Or are you living an echo of other people's opinions? What are you afraid will happen if you stop asking for advice and start trusting your own quiet knowing? Is the endless search for external validation bringing you peace, or is it only drowning out your truth? Pause. Breathe. Sit in the quiet for just a few moments today without reaching for a distraction or asking for an opinion. Let the chaotic waves of confusion slowly settle. Do not try to force a grand revelation. Just allow the water to clear. Because true peace is not found in having the entire world agree with your path. It is found in trusting the compass within you, even when the needle points toward the unknown. But recognizing the direction is only half of the journey. And this is where the next truth begins. Because knowing which way to go and having the courage to actually step into the fog are two very different things. 7. Taking the first step into the fog. What if the courage you are desperately waiting for will only arrive after you take the first step? Here is the truth few people want to face. You cannot build confidence by standing completely still, and you cannot think your way into a brave new life. We often believe that fear must completely vanish before we are allowed to act. You stand at the edge of a major life change, waiting for a sudden, overwhelming surge of bravery. You think that if you wait just a little longer, the sky will suddenly clear, all your doubts will wash away, and you will feel 100% ready. But hesitation only breeds more hesitation. You find yourself caught in an endless loop of preparing, planning, and overthinking, mistaking your constant mental preparation for actual movement. You are waiting for a green light from a universe that is secretly waiting for you to simply take a step. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound practice of mindful action. It reminds us that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to walk forward while carrying that fear with a gentle, non-attached heart. In Buddhist thought, our focus must remain anchored in the present moment, not on the thousands of miles that lie ahead, but on the very ground beneath your feet right now. We suffer because we believe we must conquer the entire journey all at once. But the reality of existence is much simpler. You only ever have to take one single step at a time. Imagine standing at the edge of a massive, ancient bridge that is entirely swallowed by a thick, heavy fog. You cannot see the other side. You cannot even see the thick cables holding the bridge in the air. Your frightened mind screams that if you step forward, you will step into an empty abyss. You sit at the edge, waiting for a strong wind to blow the fog away. But the fog belongs to the deep river below. It is not going to leave. The only way to prove the bridge is solid is to place your foot onto the first wooden plank and then the next. The fog will not magically clear all at once, but as you walk, it gently parts just enough to reveal the exact space you need for your very next footstep. Think about how this happens in your daily life. You delay starting a new career path because you cannot guarantee it will end in absolute success. You wait to leave a painful dynamic, hoping the fear of being alone will suddenly disappear before you finally walk out the door. You let the days slowly turn into years, trapped on the safety of the shore, simply because the middle of the bridge looks too deeply uncertain. You are letting the fog dictate your entire existence. Ask yourself, what feeling are you waiting for before you finally move? Are you waiting for an absolute absence of fear that will never actually come? What are you afraid will happen if you simply take one small, entirely imperfect step today? Is standing frozen on the shore bringing you peace, or is it only making you feel trapped? Pause, breathe. Stop looking at the distant, invisible horizon. Bring your full attention back to the space immediately in front of you. You do not need to leap. You do not need to run. You only need to shift your weight forward. Because true peace is not found in having a perfectly clear view of your final destination. It is found in the quiet, steady rhythm of moving forward despite the heavy mist. But taking the first step is only the beginning of your release. And this is where the final truth begins. Because the ultimate freedom comes when you finally accept the path you have chosen, no matter where it leads. 8. Making peace with the path you choose. What if the true victory is not making the flawless choice, but simply refusing to remain a prisoner of your own indecision? We began this journey standing at a painful crossroads, completely paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake. You were holding your breath, exhausted by the heavy burden of trying to perfectly predict a future that has not yet arrived. You felt the crushing weight of the unknown, convinced that a single wrong turn would steal your happiness forever. But as we have explored, the unknown is not your enemy. It is simply the open, untamed space where your actual life unfolds. When you allow fear to sit beside you without giving it the steering wheel, you reclaim your power. You realize that the intense suffering you felt was never truly about the decision itself. It was about your desperate, white-knuckled grip on control. It was the painful illusion that you could somehow outsmart the natural flow of life by standing completely still. Buddhist wisdom gently returns us to the sanctuary of the present moment. It reminds us that there is a profound, unshakable liberation in true acceptance. Once you have finally pulled up the anchor, once you have bravely planted the seed in the dark soil, once you have taken that terrifying first step onto the foggy bridge, your only remaining task is to make peace with the reality of your choice. True non-attachment means firmly releasing the ghosts of the alternate realities you left behind. It means breathing deeply into the path you are currently walking, without constantly looking over your shoulder to see if the other road would have been easier. Imagine a wide, ancient river flowing powerfully toward a vast, endless ocean. When you stand at the fork in the river, you agonize over whether to take the left channel or the right. You fear that one leads to jagged rocks and the other leads to perfectly calm waters. But the truth is, both paths will have smooth stretches and both will have turbulent rapids. Once you finally commit your small boat to one of the currents, you must stop trying to paddle backward. You must put down your frantic oars and stop fighting the flow. Both branches of the river ultimately lead to the exact same vast ocean of your own growth. The water will carry you. Your only job now is to balance the boat and gracefully navigate the scenery as it unfolds. The deep peace you crave does not come from choosing a stream with no obstacles. It comes from surrendering to the journey itself. Think about your own beautifully imperfect life. You are going to make choices. Some will bring immediate joy, and some will bring incredibly difficult lessons, but none of them will break you. If you remain firmly anchored in your own presence, you do not have to carry the heavy luggage of the unchosen path with you anymore. You are allowed to let go of the exhausting, endless loop of what-ifs. You are allowed to completely forgive yourself for not knowing the final outcome in advance. Ask yourself, can you finally lay down the heavy, impossible burden of trying to perfectly engineer your future? Can you trust that no matter what tomorrow holds, you will have the wisdom, the resilience, and the quiet strength to meet it when it arrives? Pause, breathe, feel the quiet stillness that remains when you finally stop fighting the current. You have done the hard work of choosing. Now, you must do the gentle work of trusting. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Let life meet you where you are.